crazy situation.
Yes.
It's a very, very sad.
You know, sitting down.
Yes, inshallah, brothers. The ummah is finally on top. That's right. Allah is the greatest and works in mysterious ways. Mamdani's campaign did not unite all of New York. Okay. Of course, Ross Douthat came out, and we're going to talk about the centrist chirpers. We're going to talk about the centrist chirpers, and we're also going to talk about the right-wing tiers as well. I know this is New York Post, but it's kind of iconic. No, I know. This is literally impossible to find on the newsstands right now in New York, okay? It is impossible to find on the newsstands out in New York because everyone is purchasing copies by the dozen. I'm not even joking. Like, this is such an iconic piece of newspaper that they are selling it on eBay, dude. It's not an edit, that's real. It's even prettier in person. Oh, beautiful. Here's CNN's Van Jones. Not a fan of Mamdani's angry far-left, rage-filled victory speech. Managing editor of Newsbusters is the one who's posting this, by the way. Newsbusters is a right-wing think tank, a right-wing oppo shop, and they're cutting Van Jones clips off of CNN. Let's take a look.
That we saw on the campaign trail, who was a lot more calm, who was a lot warmer, who was a lot more embracing, was not present in that speech. And I think,
by the way, his acceptance speech is a historic one. Okay? It was his best speech so far. And not only was it his best speech so far, I can't remember a time where I have heard any politician, regardless of what level they're at, whether it be running for mayor, whether it be running for president, whether it be running for Senate, governor, whatever. I cannot recall a single time post-Obama where I have heard a politician deliver a speech and I'm listening to it and I'm thinking, this will be written about, okay? It was his absolute best speech. Like, there were funny moments that turned the volume up. Like, that's not what I'm talking about. Coming out of the gate swinging with class first language, okay? With a Eugene Debs quote. Like, I'm telling you, there was something there. It was electric. He did not pull punches. And I think the reason why Van Jones is behaving this way is because obviously he's a stooge for Israel. He quoted Mario Cuomo, which was incredible.
Thank you, my friends. The sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said, I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
As long as we can remember, the working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and the well-connected that power does not belong in their hands. Fingers bruised from lifting boxes on the warehouse floor, palms calloused from delivery bike handlebars, knuckles scarred with kitchen burns. These are not hands that have been allowed to hold power. And yet, over the last 12 months, you have dared to reach for something greater. Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it. The future is in our hands. My friends, we have toppled a political dynasty. I wish Andrew Cuomo only the best in private life. tonight be the final time I utter his name. As we turn the page on a politics that abandons the many and answers only to the few. New York, tonight you have delivered a mandate for change. A mandate for a new kind of politics. A mandate for a city we can afford. And a mandate for a government that delivers exactly that. On January 1st, I will be sworn in as the mayor of New York City. And that is because of you. So before I say anything else, I must say this. Thank you. Thank you to the next generation of New Yorkers who refused to accept that the promise of a better future was a relic of the past. You showed that when politics speaks to you without condescension, we can usher in a new era of leadership. We will fight for you because we are you. Or as we say on Steinway, ana minkum wa ilaykum.
Yeah, here was Scott Jennings and Van Jones tag teaming this speech.
The White House should be listening.
I mean, look, these are blue states, and Democrats were supposed to win.
It is really interesting, though. The cope coming from the right and the center is identical. Oh, this victory is meaningless. Oh, they only spent like $100 million attacking the dude every second of the day and literally concocted a spoiler candidate. Oh, it's not that big of a deal. Oh, who cares? And you hear that from Matt Iglesias all the way to Van Jones and Scott Jennings. This is the reason why I showed you AOC's statement last night on Abby Phillips, because Zohran didn't just fight back and win against the Republican in a city-wide election where 75% of the vote is usually going to go to the Democratic candidate. He fought back against the establishment Democrats as well. There is a real moment here. There is a real moment here. This is a people-backed candidacy, a class-first politics going up against the forces of capital, okay?
So I wouldn't overread it. Virginia, in particular, has never been a great bellwether. I don't think a lot of folks had a lot of confidence in the Virginia campaign that was run on the Republican side. And New Jersey is New Jersey. So I would hesitate to overread it. I don't think the concerns you raised are illegitimate political strategy concerns. You know, I think I just want to offer condolences to Chuck Schumer. Honestly, what I'm reading here in New York City is that AOC is going to be the next senator from New York after she gets done whooping his rear end in the 2028 Democratic primary. And for his Senate races in 2026, I see the energy in the Democratic Party tonight behind a socialist, and I see the energy in Virginia, Democrats looking the other way on a violent candidate for Attorney General who says he wants.
It's your boy Jesus. Why are you watching this Neo baby R-tard? Ha ha ha. What is a Neo baby?
To murder Republicans and their children. If you think you're getting rid of Graham Plattner in Maine now, think again. This is a terrible night.
They got new types of
Democratic
babies.
Image, given what is happening inside their party. Mamdani is an avowed socialist. It's not what people say that he is, it's what he says that he is. He's now the leader of their party. That's their energy, and Chuck Schumer's
He's the leader of the Democratic Party?
Let's swear.
What? There is no. Who is the leader? Can someone tell me?
He's a life raft for Republicans who have to go on TV and get their asses kicked.
You own this. You own this now. You all own this now.
We've had progressive mayors. I don't think anybody thought that de Blasio.
He's the best actor you all have, is he not?
No disrespect to my new boy, Bilbo, okay? No disrespect to Bill de Blasio, but I think there is a difference here, right? There is a little bit of a difference here. Yes, New York has had progressive mayors in the past, okay? But New York in its history has only had 2 socialist mayors. And this is the only relevant contemporary historic example. Okay? And that's precisely the reason why all of you dip sitting in your ivory tower are spending every waking moment attacking him. This is the most uniparty these guys have been in a long time, just openly saying the quiet part out loud over and over again. Make no mistake, if he was the same exact like regular progressive Democrat, there wouldn't be this level of angst and this level of animosity. Yeah, we'll get to the Ross Douthat video in a second.
Listen,
Mamdani.
here's what I'll say. I'm a lot happier than you are sad. You're saying I'm happy. You know why? Buyer's remorse from independents. Independents gave Donald Trump a shot. Buyer's remorse. The Latin community gave him a shot. You see, buyer's remorse. Black men gave Trump a shot. They've come back home.
Didn't.
Buyer's remorse. Why?
They didn't. That's just bad. That's just bad commentary. Like, you could say that about the Hispanic vote. You can't even say that about black men. That's just bullshit. That's bullshit. The margins for black men were so narrow. It was nothing. It was nothing. Okay? God, it's just like, this is just wrong. This is just wrong. This is wrong analysis. I cannot believe it. Of course, Dems are going to take the wrong messaging from this and claim voters love their inaction this time. God.
Because people are sick of the status quo. That's why they voted for Trump the first time. That's why they voted him out the second time. That's why they voted him back in. People want change. And Donald Trump said he was going to do something about grocery prices. He's done everything, but he's putting in gold toilets in the White House. He's tearing up. He's gallivanting around the world. And you're seeing buyer's remorse in places where Republicans had some hope. This thing is starting to settle out now. This is about basic needs that people have and basic rights people expect. That's what seems to be under fire from this administration. And if they think they can spin and talk and spin and talk and nobody's going to notice that, they just got proven wrong tonight. People's basic needs are not being met. One of the things that I think people are seeing, not just from Mamdani, but from the moderates as well, this focus on kitchen table issues. We used to talk about this in weird ways. Income inequality, wealth disparity, economic justice. People who went...
Didn't say it that way.
but we had a lot of syllables, man. It was people describing a problem they didn't have, okay? Now you got people who are talking like the people who have the problem. I can't afford nothing. And somebody who can talk that way, whether they're on the left of our party or the middle of our party, is going to have a big audience. And this buyer's remorse that's setting in now from other people is a big problem for Republicans.
I think two big takeaways. So listen, I think there's this divide within the Democratic Party. Is the future of the party Mamdani? Is it democratic socialism? Is it more in the likes of AOC and Bernie Sanders? He no doubt ran a good campaign. I interviewed him. He is a very formidable force in American politics. We had two female governors who were just elected, Democrats, who ran as consummate centrists. Both of them were talking about uniting the country, that there's more that unites us than divides us, both with very credible resumes. So what direction are you going to go? Because you guys need to focus on...
Rich Democrats are the reason why Democrat voters hate Democrats right now. And dude, I was a Republican who I'm proud to say I flipped to be a Democrat because of Zohran's views on normal politics. Dude, like, mashallah, hell yeah. That's crazy. What a swing. I love that. Van Jones, he's basically saying the electorate is too dumb to understand the underlying social issues that stem from capitalism. Yes, he is saying that. I mean, he is a deeply, deeply cynical charlatan. And I'm so glad that Charlemagne the God, who has become like a woke warrior, okay? Look at what Charlemagne's take was on Van Jones's stupid ass criticisms, like silly ass criticisms. Once again, remember, when Van Jones is speaking, just understand, he's saying populist framework works, simplifying the messages is working. And yes, that is true, okay? But I'm mostly referencing Van Jones's statements about how Zohran Mamdani was more aggressive than ever before, okay? Like in his speech last night, which by the way was his best speech. I think. Here's what Charlemagne the God had to say about Van Jones.
Any of that divisive. I personally loved that he covered all bases. He talked about working with police, helping people with mental health issues. He talked about helping the homeless, trans people, black women, Jewish people, the Muslim community. Most importantly, he spoke to the working class of all races. Van Jones didn't like that. He thought it was divisive.
But I think he missed an opportunity. The Mamdani that we saw on the campaign trail, who was a lot more calm, who was a lot warmer, who was a lot more embracing.
Where the f does Jones get this analysis from? It's called $100 million from Jeff Bezos. Literally look it up. Jeff Bezos gave him straight up, no questions asked, $100 million. He also is one of Van Jones, despite his early beginnings as an activist and a movement builder, as a Maoist third worldist. This is real. You can also look that up as well. He is a massive AIPAC stooge, okay? He is deeply, deeply in the pockets of the Israel lobby. He is such a annoying person. He is so goddamn annoying. He has notoriously the worst takes. For every like one good take he has 1,000 bad takes. I mean, this man cried after Joe Biden dropped out, okay? That's all you need to say. You just make fun of him, point, laugh, and move on. It's not even worth it.
It was not present in that speech. He was almost yelling. That said, he's very young, and he just pulled off something that's very, very difficult. But I think he missed an opportunity to open himself up tonight, and I think that will probably cost him going forward.
Van, shut the F up ever. Okay? Damn. There was no opportunity missed. The man just won, and he deserved to take a victory lap. There's absolutely nothing divisive about calling out bad landlords who take advantage of tenants, calling out billionaires who are corrupt and don't pay their fair share of taxes, and administration trying to implement an authoritarian strategy on America. There is nothing.
I can't believe this man's political evolution. I can't believe it. This dude literally went from being a Pete Buttigieg booster to being a Michael Bloomberg booster to whatever he has become now. Oh my God, Charlemagne the God. Actually, unironically, the God, okay? The actual God.
Nothing wrong with calling that out. See, the reason a lot of things don't change in this country is because you don't have enough politicians that are willing to challenge capitalism. And Zohran is doing that.
Very hard for me to get inside of Van Jones's head, but I would remind people that Van Jones in 2017 is the guy who gave us the most famous line of the first Trump administration. Van Jones on CNN said, tonight he became president of the United States. Van Jones thinks that Donald Trump gives unifying speeches that make him president, but thinks Zohran Mamdani, who's united a multiracial, multicultural, multi-income coalition, is divisive. That tells you more about Van Jones than it does tell you about Zohran Mamdani. I mean, Jared Kushner's pal wasn't a fan of Zohran Mamdani's anti-oligarchy, anti-Trump speech. I'm shocked.
Please give Van Jones the biggest hee-haw.
Damn, donkey of the day. Let's get to this this funny moment from Trump. Trump obviously is very telegenic, okay? Some of his best moments are when he recognizes that he's kind of lost on an issue. This is one of those. I love it.
Open soon and really immediately. Last night it was, not expected to be a victory. It was very Democrat areas, but I don't think it was good for Republicans. I don't think it was good. I'm not sure it was good for anybody. But we had an interesting evening and we learned a lot. But I thought we'd have a discussion after the press leaves about what last night represented and what we should do about it, and also about the shutdown and how that relates to last night. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans. And that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor. But I don't know.
They say I wasn't on the ballot. That's why they lost. I'm so glad they said it because I only care about myself. Awesome.
About that, but I was honored that they said that. So as you know, we are in the midst of a disastrous Democrat-created government shutdown. And it is Democrat-created, but I don't think they're getting really the blame that they should.
Your media presence last night has inspired me to officially get political.
Now,
Connor, what do you mean officially get political? You are the most consequential political commentator on this goddamn platform, brother. What are you talking about? You already are there.
The longest shutdown in American history. The Democrat radicals in the Senate have shown zero interest in reopening the government. And I don't think they'll act so soon. A lot of people disagree. I've been saying for the last 30 days, we've had 4 or 5 different points. Yes, sir, they're going to get it right now. We should have it done in a day. I've heard that about 4 times. I heard it after Kings, you know, they said I was a king. And I heard it after Kings. I heard it after a couple of other moments in time. And I said, no, I don't believe so. And now I heard it's after the election. I don't believe so.
So what does the president, who was a factor in all these races, make of the results? Well, in the social media posts overnight, he blamed the fact he wasn't on the ballot to boost Republican turnout, and he blamed the shutdown. And as Mayor-elect Mamdani was speaking last night here in New York and strongly criticizing the president's threats to meddle in city affairs, the president posted a 4-word message. And so it begins. We'll see if he explains what he means later today. Nate?
All right, Ed, thank you. CBS News Elections and Surveys Director, Anthony.
Yeah, you know what that means? He's kneeling. It's genuflection time. Trump on Mamdani will help him a little bit. Trump, I want New York City to be successful. That's what he meant, it turns out. That's right, baby. That's right. Bow down. Bow down. Woo, goddamn. Feels good. Feels good. Take a knee. Take a knee. Take a bow. Okay? Meanwhile, there are still obviously entities that are not reading the room and stating that they will be an op every step of the way. Of course, my boldest op, perhaps even my boldest op, Jonathan Greenblatt is who I'm talking about. Many of you wanted me to cover this part of the story as well, which I, of course, will be doing. My boldest of ops, Jonathan Greenblatt, is obviously talking about how they want to put together a McCarthyist unit that will investigate the Zohran Mamdani teams to the best of their ability. What is this? At the start of this, you have it up for the young men. How about we give it up to the base of the Democratic Party, black people? Oh, yeah, of course. Always. Inbox, the Anti-Defamation League announces launch of initiative to track and monitor policies and personnel appointments of the incoming Mamdani administration and protect Jewish residents across the 5 boroughs. Wow, sounds like the ADL is launching its own version of Canary Mission to try and prevent people who are critical of Israel from getting hired by city government. They will not get even a little bit of motion on this, okay? I'm making you a promise right now. I will fight back against this shit with the utmost severity that it deserves, okay? Suck my Jonathan Greenblatt. You expended all of the social capital you had trying to dunk on people like Zohran Mamdani, trying to dunk on people like myself, people who are anti-Zionist and not anti-Semitic, while simultaneously defending some of the most vicious anti-Semites. And yes, Morning Joe had Greenblatt on this morning to complain. Like I said, my baldest op. This is so gross. Trump is actual neo-Nazis who have gone through Senate approval, but this is what this org is continuing to perpetuate. After a historic night when a large percentage of the Jewish New Yorkers actually supported Zohran Mamdani, just gross. The ADL is launching an initiative to track and monitor Mamdani administration policies and appointments, protect Jewish New Yorkers. Okay? I like this post-election, Hasan. You sound much more hopeful. Yeah, I mean, of course I sound more hopeful. Our boy won.
I'll tell you, I've gotten so many calls from Jewish New Yorkers who are alarmed. Their kid was harassed in college. Their child was bullied in K through 12. Their synagogues vandalized. So here's what ADL is doing right now. If you are a Jewish New Yorker, we have your back, and we will hold Mamdani.
It's so cynical and so gross to use real fears and also hysteria. Let's be real, because while there are, I'm sure, real fears against actual anti-Semitic incidents that take place, okay? There is a metric ton of hysteria, mostly as a consequence of the racialized animus that many pro-Israel people feel towards those who are Muslim, okay? But it is disgusting that Jonathan Greenblatt, head of the ADL, is cynically saying that he's actually tasked with defending Jews when we know he does not care at all. He only cares about defending Israel. Yeah, there was a swastika spray painted on a synagogue this morning. I saw that. Like, there are real instances of anti-Semitism, but he is the worst guy to map this out, okay? That's it. He tweeted about it 14 minutes before you accused him of not tweeting about it. Oh, crickets for mayor-elect Zohran Mamdani. Yeah, the Magen David Yeshiva in Brooklyn was one of the several Jewish sites defiled last night with spray-painted swastikas. I strongly condemn this hateful display of anti-Semitism. Zohran, of course, also immediately them. He said, "This is disgusting and heartbreaking act of anti-Semitism, and it has no place in our beautiful city. As mayor, I will always stand steadfast with our Jewish neighbors to root the scourge of anti-Semitism in our city." So it wasn't crickets at all. He actually had tweeted about it. But these motherfuckers don't care. They don't care. I'm sorry. You are personally betraying the severity of the crisis if you are using this crisis to try to win political points. Okay? Because this is a real heinous act of bigotry. And when you see a real heinous act of bigotry, if your first inclination is not even to check whether or not Zohran Mamdani has said anything about it, but immediately cry foul and act as though this is not something that he would worry about as mayor, and then lie and say that he hasn't said anything about it, you're a piece of shit, and you obviously don't give a about anti-Semitism. Sorry, Jewish New Yorkers, but the foreign country of Israel is more important than the fire in your home. I can no longer protect New Yorkers from fires because the mayor criticized the foreign country of Israel. NYC fire commissioner is resigning over disagreements with Mamdani on Israel is another very funny moment, because you would expect like Jessica Tisch to do that, but not like the NYPD or the fire commissioner in the fire department. And it turns out, you know, first of all, good riddance. Okay, R.I.P. Bozo. Also, the NYPD fire commissioner, I suspect, is the corrupt one, right? Yeah, remaining in his administration will be against his principles. The principles in question. Fire one. That's the one, right? I was thinking of that. Yeah, Eric Adams appointee. That's his car, chat. Let's get Ross Douthat and copium. Mamdani's victory is less significant than you think. New York's next mayor won't save the Democrats. Of course.
Hola, Nueva York.
This should not come as a surprise to you. Ross Douthat is back to doing some. Okay.
Zohran Mamdani
Mamdani
has been elected mayor of New York City, raising the flag of the far left over Gotham.
Zohran Mamdani is the winner.
Zohran Mamdani is the winner.
And if you
Gotham is actually maybe Chicago, isn't it? Isn't it Arkham? I don't know.
believe the hype or the fears of his critics, then the 34-year-old Ugandan-born Muslim democratic socialist is poised to remake the Democratic Party, thrilling young voters, mainstreaming socialism.
There has to be a better distribution of wealth for all of God's children in this country.
And anti-Zionism.
What's happening in Gaza as a genocide.
And offering himself as the starkest possible contrast to that other New Yorker in the White House.
We're sending in our National Guard.
We do not need the National Guard.
But I'm skeptical.
Does it say anything about our
Bro, his Wikipedia page is so funny. Classic Nepo baby media guy. What the f*** am listening to this loser? Because he's hot. Duh. Why does anybody listen to me? Because we're both sexy. What kind of question is this?
national politics?
This would be a message to Democrats nationally as well.
The odds are that Mamdani's victory is actually less significant than you think. In part, that's because the media, still New York-centric, tends to hype New York.
The only part about this that is correct is that the media is New York-centric, and shit that happens in New York gets elevated quite a bit. I mean, look no further than like all the Barry Weiss movements that have taken place in CBS News. Like, that is a byproduct of New York media being super self-interested and hyper-focusing on New York media-related shit, right? That's it. That's the real reason. That's a thing that happens, okay? There is some truth out of that, okay? This race was definitely base boosted, for sure. There is truth to that. Having said that, however, everything else he's gonna say here is like, oh, it's just New York politics are different than, you know, the rest of the country. All this shit is like, doesn't matter. The footprint and the skeleton of a successful campaign that can successfully overcome great odds is right there.
Mayoral politics beyond its real significance.
Everyone's now treating New York's mayoral race as if it were a presidential one.
Do you see Mamdani as the future of the Democratic Party?
And it's also because the office of mayor of New York City has tended to be a political springboard to nowhere. We've repeatedly seen New York City mayors, from John Lindsay to Rudy Giuliani to Michael Bloomberg.
Okay, low-key, that's also true. Never mind. He's right about that. But once again, this has nothing to do. This is a bait and switch, okay? What he's doing here is a bait and switch off the main premise, okay? Because no one thinks that the Zohran Mamdani campaign was significant and possibly a footprint for like what the National Party could do to save its reputation, because they think, oh, Zohran Mamdani is going to be the president. First of all, he's an immigrant, okay? He is a naturalized citizen. He's not legally capable of becoming the president. So that's number one anyway. It would be as stupid as bringing that up to be like, well, this doesn't make for a national party because, no one after being the mayor of New York ever becomes anything, even if they have aspirations of higher office, ever end up achieving it. It's like, yeah, okay, that doesn't mean anything. The national, or rather international relevance of this movement and of this campaign is because of what the campaign represented and who the campaign was able to successfully activate with what policies. That's it.
Hyped as national political influencers, only to flop outside the 5 boroughs. When Eric Adams was elected just 4 years ago, there was a lot of talk about how his distinctive branding as a tough-on-crime African-American moderate,
this is not going to be a city of violence,
might make him a leader for the national...
Yeah, dumb people said that because they're stupid. Actually, Ross Douthat, I don't know if you said it personally, but many of your dumbass colleagues certainly did. The people that you hail as like champions, intellectual giants of analyses, were all eating this dude's dick. We didn't say that. I thought, what a ridiculous thing. And guess what? I didn't point to the fact that a mayor is never going to have aspirations of higher office that they can achieve. That's not my, that wasn't my analysis. I was saying that's dumb because Eric Adams is a bad, is a bad campaigner. His policies weren't good. And he won because it was a crowded primary once again. And there wasn't any there was a lot of leftist infighting taking place last time around. And there wasn't like a significant left flank candidate there. It was Nate Silver who said that. It's probably foolish to think a New York City mayor will successfully translate into being a national political figure. But I still think Eric Adams would be in my top 5 for who will be the next Democratic presidential nominee after Joe Biden.
Democratic Party.
Look at me. You're seeing the future of the Democratic Party.
Obviously, that didn't work out. And all of those figures were at least trying to be centrists or moderates, whereas Mamdani has been elected as the left-wing mayor of a left-wing city. And imagining that that makes him a model for how the Democratic Party should compete nationwide is a little bit like imagining that a far-right Republican elected in Alabama or Idaho is likely to offer a template for how Republicans should compete in swing states. That's likely to be a fantasy.
Will the Democratic leadership learn from his campaign? I doubt it.
I'll say this for Mamdani, though. He's come on the scene at a moment when the leftward wing of the Democratic Party is looking for a national leader because Bernie Sanders can't live forever, and it's not clear that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez
Until we flip the seats in Congress
or any other figure is quite ready to fill Sanders' shoes. So there might be a future where Mamdani ends up getting elected as a governor or a senator and becomes an important factional leader on the left, if not a leader of the Democratic Party as a whole. And that could happen, I suppose, if he governs absolutely brilliantly, maybe even by imitating Sanders' own successful turn as the pragmatic, sewer socialist mayor of the somewhat smaller city of Burlington, Vermont. I think that's the best case for his long-term.
Ross Douthat is the worst kind of right-wing figure because he actually is a well-read one, right? Like, sewer socialism, no, he's right. God, you guys are literally less well-read than Ross Douthat. He's right. He's right. God damn, some of you motherfuckers do not listen to Michael from Pennsylvania at all, for the record, okay? But he isn't wrong about this analysis. It's just he's misdirecting. He is misdirecting the attention of the viewership, the readership, with accurate assessment, accurate analysis, but leading you in an inaccurate direction by presenting this alternative argument that the mayor of New York is a tough job, which is true, but the mayor of New York's performance in this tough job is going to make it impossible for this to be a nationally relevant campaign, when in fact, you are supposed to be looking at the performance of the campaign against the odds. And from that perspective, it's a banger. the campaign outperformed expectations, 1% recognition, 1% approval rating, only a couple months prior to beating out this crowded primary field, and then also destroying the dynastic name of Cuomo once and for all, and doing so while having to combat these forces of capital that were pretty aggressively attacking him.
Political significance. But I still think that it's more likely that 4 years of actually governing New York City will demonstrate yet again why getting elected mayor is so often a career peak.
He's a classic conservative in a lot of ways, completely elitist and not at all anti-intellectual. That's why he's so annoying, and also why MAGA is not a fan of his. Yeah. Pseudo hog tears. Oh, yes. So Andrew Cuomo obviously had an event, and I know I had some friends who wanted to attend the Andrew Cuomo events, but they couldn't figure out where they were. But one of the things that's awesome about the Andrew Cuomo events that took place around the city, especially this main one, was how much anger and resentment these hogs and hogalinas have for Curtis Lewa.
And Tommy, he threw the election. Curtis Lewa threw this election. Wake up, New York.
I do need to say something here, but like, I think if you're at that age, it's a little crazy that you're just like running around all sorts of up, being like this mentally ill. Like, stay at home, do knitting, you know what I mean? Take on a hobby, do the crossword puzzle. You should be doing that, not being a mentally ill QAnon supporter at the Andrew Cuomo rally. It is far past your bedtime, lady. But here you are at the rally being a nuisance.
Shame on you, Curtis Lewa. You threw the election. You're a scumbag. You will never be loved in New York City ever again. You are a scumbag. Fucking tell him how Lewa is a scumbag. Shame on Curtis Lewa. You are New York City.
You want to know what one of the funniest parts about this is that with the way that the votes actually went, even if Lewa dropped out, Andrew Cuomo still would have lost. Like, I know it's not these guys' strong suit. Matt, thinking, being a normal human being, like not their strong suit, right? But like, yeah, Adam Carlson is right. I do enjoy the commitment to their Lewa was a spoiler argument, even though a fifth grader could tell you that even if you magically shifted all of Lewa's votes to Cuomo, he still would have lost by 1.7 points. And what's really funny is like, they're still doing this thing. They're still doing this thing where they're like, no, you're supposed to drop out for me. I'm the establishment Democrat, which I love. I love that now the establishment Democrats are doing the I'm entitled to your votes, but this time to the Republicans. Dude, is there a less democratic force out there than these annoying centrists, dude? Seriously. They have one vote, and it's just, I'm entitled to your vote. Give it to me. The wrong with you? Isn't that crazy? I kind of love seeing that, though. At least they're not doing it to us at least they're not doing it to us for once, right? Because normally we're used to that shit. This is what we have to eat on a daily basis. Like, oh, what do you mean you're not going to vote for Kamala Harris? Like, what do you think? This is democracy? No, you got two shots. You got two options. And if you don't vote for Kamala Harris, then you suck and you love Donald Trump. And it's like, okay, sure. But a lot of people don't work that way. They don't look at the situation and go, okay, I'm going to go vote for Kamala Harris. Otherwise, it's going to be Donald Trump. And it's evidenced by the fact that you see a bunch of people that did vote for Donald Trump who were like, oh my God, that was a terrible decision, right? It shouldn't get to that point for people to realize that Donald Trump is bad. But unfortunately, you have to work within the electorate you have, not the one that you invented in your mind, where everyone is like, well, I'm certainly convinced by harm reduction voting narratives, okay? Just as I tell all of my revolutionary vanguardist chatters that you have to work within the electorate you have and not the one that you envision or the one that you dreamed that magically has unlocked class consciousness, but instead one that self-identifies as liberal. To the Democrats, I always say, work within the electorate you have, instead of assuming that the harm reduction narratives are going to work. You have to literally make an argument as to why they should vote for you. Okay? They don't. They don't do it. They don't do it. They just don't. You just keep repeating it over and over again. But it's very annoying, very annoying that the Democrats are like, nope, didn't learn from those lessons the last time around, gonna do that again. And it's pretty funny to me that they still have this parasitic attitude, this arrogant entitlement that somehow people owe them and that they have to get the vote. It's not gonna work, especially when you got a real one like Curtis Lewa out there. My GOAT. This one's for him. Shouts out to my main man, Curtis.
New York City! By Soros!
Yeah. Oh my God. Get a cat in his honor. But yeah, there's more. There's even funnier versions of this. There's Michael Treacy. Michael Treacy interviewed a bunch of these people. You have this? Oh, John Rocker. Taxis will be replaced by camels. Women will be forced to cover themselves head to toe. NYPD will be replaced with religious police. All hot dog stands will be replaced with goat meat stands. This is what you voted for, this guy says. It's like, dude, you can't even do racism in an interesting way. At that point, you gotta give up, dude. Honestly. Oh, this was funny too. Speaking of racism in an interesting way, here's a look at who was at Mamdani's election night party. It says Alexis McAdams, the Fox News national correspondent. That's Mahmoud Khalil, the Columbia grad student who led anti-Israel protests for months. He was supposed to be deported by the Trump administration. Also, Hasan Piker, the streamer who said America deserved 9/11. I like that Mehdi gets no play here, by the way. That's pretty chill. Come on, make something up for him too. What the Ted Cruz? This is what happiness. This is what happens when communists win. Oh, Ted Cruz just posted me. Wait, that's from today, from 11. It only got 2.4 thousand likes. Oh my God. Oh, he is so washed. Oh God. You're washed, dude. You're also reposting Drew Pavlov. Ugh. These guys are Mamdani meltdown montage. Oh, let's go.
Imagine how disappointed I am. This is a horrible blow.
I honestly feel bad. I have friends of mine in New York. My phone is blowing up. They are officially depressed and scared.
And this was also a hostile takeover by the Democratic Socialists of America.
And this is a crazy situation. Yes. It's a very, very sad night.
Okay, I'm literally in tears. I'm having a hard time keeping a straight face. And my funny friends are sending me, one is a meme of the Statue of Liberty, you know, sitting down, smoking a cigarette. Yes! I'm going to move to Florida.
Inshallah, brothers, the Ummah is finally on top.
Congratulations to Zohran Mamdani.
Let's go! That's right. Allah is the greatest and works in mysterious ways. Reply thread, a hog Twitter meltdowns courtesy of Ken Liegenstein. Reply with the funniest New Yorkers following type post you've seen. Greg Abbott, join me for a moment of silence for New York City thoughts and prayers. White smoke, New York City has a new mayor. Okay, that one's kind of funny. That's also, that one's literally, that's from, I don't know who this is, but you're a liberal? What is this? Reporters and cameras swarmed Hasan Piker, a liberal commentator and online streamer wearing a plaid jacket, pearl necklace, and Adidas sneakers like moss to a flame. He delivered soundbite after soundbite. Wait, where is this article from? Who the f called me a liberal? Oh, it's probably the New York Magazine or New Yorker, right? God, still? I thought we moved past this shit, bro. What the f is Vanity Fair? Why do they do that? Why do you do that? Why do they always talk about how you're dressed? Because I'm hot, dude. I don't know. Because they puts you in the scene, I guess. I saw you in the Swedish newspaper Aftonbladet. That sounds like I'm no disrespect to the Swedes, but that literally to me, to my American ears, sounds like a neo-Nazi contingency that actually recruits exclusively from the special forces part of the military. You know what I mean? Oh, it's the Aftonbladet. It means afternoon news. Okay, well, it sounds like the afternoon news is about white supremacy. It's actually a social democratic newspaper. Okay, social democratic in Sweden. Are we talking OG social democracy or the current version of it? Because the current version of it isn't that far removed from the thing that I was talking about as far as like Atomwaffen equivalency. Yeah. Like which version of Swedish social democracy? Okay, if it's the current versions, then I wasn't that off base with my assessment. Europeans talk to them when they see a migrant. Yeah. I got billed as a liberal on this thing. God damn it. Reporters at campus swarmed Hasan Piker, a liberal commentator and online streamer wearing a plaid jacket and pearl necklace. They called my ass a libtard, dude. Soundbite after soundbite. To Vanity Fair specifically, maybe I was a little worried that the 9/11 stuff was sticking, Piker said, alluding to the pro-Cuomo super PAC who ran an attack ad of Mamdani in the front of the Twin Towers along with footage from 2019 in Piker saying America deserves September 11. No, I'm kidding. I didn't care about that at all. I didn't think that was actually a serious or sincere line of attack. I think it was a failure that demonstrated how extremely online a lot of advisors of Andrew Cuomo were. Everyone checked out each other's merch. And there was so much different merch. Zohran baseball caps, Zohran buttons, Zohran bandanas, Zohran berets, Zohran scarves. Someone even had on a Zohran pimple patch. The power of memes, merch, and vibes did not work for Kamala Harris. They did, however, work for Zohran Mamdani. Yeah, I wonder why. Hey, Fox News. Thanks for highlighting clips from the Zeteo election night live stream. If people want to hear what Hasan Piker and Mahmoud Khalil, U.S. citizen and green card holder, respectively, had to say, they can watch the actual video. Let's go. Oh, God. Oh, God. Don't tell the Fox News audience to watch the actual video. They're going to watch the actual video and then plaster my statements about how I was smoking on that Bill Crackman. They wrote of you like this in Aftonbladet. One of the familiar faces is world-renowned streamer and left-wing activist Hasan Piker, 34, who describes the atmosphere as electric. He tells Aftonbladet that the election results show that Democratic voters have had enough of this status quo and empty promises. Today, a Palestinian member of the Israeli Knesset was kicked off the podium for congratulating Mamdani. Yeah, I will take that one step further. It's what's his name? Odeh and Dr. Ofer Kasif, who were the two Israeli Knesset members, one Palestinian, one Jewish, that actually congratulated Zohran Mamdani before Cory Booker did. Think about that. Anti-Zionist Israeli Knesset members in a fascist ethno-state like Israel, who not only are going to be receiving reputational damage, but possibly physical harm or censorship, are still able to congratulate Zohran Mamdani, as opposed to Cory Booker, who is in the same party as Zohran Mamdani and is fairly close in proximity to New York City, right across the water. We already know Chuck Schumer, who is a senator from the state and lives in New York City, not only refused to endorse Zohran Mamdani, but as a matter of fact, voted for Andrew Cuomo and then sheepishly refused to say that he voted for Andrew Cuomo when asked. And here on the New York Times, sources close to Chuck Schumer basically revealed to the New York Times that he is just eating shit on a daily basis for lunch and dinner. According to people close to him, Chuck Schumer didn't endorse Mamdani because of his self-conception as a guardian of Israel. The Senate Democratic leader has more loyalty to a foreign apartheid state than his own constituents and his own party. What a pathetic man. We must rid him of his position. 100%. They're going after Jennifer Welsh too for saying the truth. This is true and it's good. If you don't like it, you can leave. Jennifer Welsh to Mehdi Hassan at Zohran's Victory Party. Americans have no culture except for multiculturalism. Crusty white people need to learn how to embrace it. It's true. Cernovich is struggling. Photo of you last night. Yeah, I saw that. The Manosphere bros are freaking out. If you didn't know anything about politics, you would say, this is the side I want to be on. Conservative ink is joyless. It's a house of scolding nags. It offers young men nothing beyond moralizing and a hypocritical lecture. This is a rowdy, masculine environment. You can feel the energy. Let's go. Brocialism. That is the name of the game. Boys. Brocialism. Let's go, baby. We're bringing back joy, but like actual joy. Of course, Blue Sky literally have no idea what he is even talking about. But why the only admitted, just lie and make something up? That's literally all Cerno does. Wasn't this the right-wing influencer's stance on Dems just a year ago, huh? What these guys don't get is every movement has scolds who take it on themselves to enforce values and or aesthetics of the vision of their movement, but they can only see it as a pervasive when they become the targets. Seeing Zohran's smiling strategy on the media, never getting angry, I give me some serious doubt about the LFI leader Mélenchon communication. He always explodes in anger on TV. Right now, the polls are terrible for us. What do you think? Yeah, I mean, I've heard that a lot. Melon Chad, also known as Melon Goat around these parts, is a king among kings. Make no mistake. I love him, and I love France Unbowed. But I have heard this criticism from a lot of French folk. They say Mélenchon is far too angry, far too rowdy. I don't know what the overall vibes are in French culture and in French elections, but I have heard this quite a bit. But I think there is a lot to be angry about, and I think Zohran, if he was a white boy, could also represent that anger. The reason why he had to smile and dial the entire time and just white knuckle through it all is because he's Muslim. You can't be angry if you're Muslim because they already assume that there's already like racialized fears, right? But yeah, it's probably always good to take things gracefully. Oh, Fartlo. How can I forget Eve Fartlo? Jews of New York, take a leaf out of the pages of the Jews of London. Protect your buildings. Safeguard your schools. Train your own security teams. Organize your own grassroots campaigns. This is serious. And it's time to learn from your scrappier cousins. That wasn't enough from Eve Fartlo. Eve Fartlo. Again, we have been telling you what's going on. The war in Gaza was a golden opportunity for the Islamic Republic of Iran and Muslim Brotherhood. Prolonging the war and denying the release of the hostages was for the sole purpose of capturing the West's attention to proliferate propaganda for jihad and to multiply suicidal empathy among Western fools. Any dissenters were challenged by the gaslighting concept of Islamophobia, while middle-class liberal white fragility was weaponized to gain political power. It's all unfolding as predicted. For those of you who think I am exaggerating this natural, fair trade, homegrown Israeli accent, because a lot of people are like, oh, you're doing Shrek. Oh, you're doing a Scottish accent and it's bad. Like, no, I'm just doing the honest to God Israeli accent that Eve Fartlo has. Okay, this is a natural, found in the wild, MENA region Israeli accent. It just happens to be Eve Fartlo and how she sounds. Okay? It's a traditional accent from the Levant. Brianna Wu, you're so stupid. A lot of Americans about to learn the hard way what takia is. Wait, wasn't she literally as recently as like 2 days ago being like, trans sisters, I was wrong for hanging with every transphobic person, thinking that they would be nice to me, and they just kept being transphobic to me, and now I'm scared and I have no allies. Is that, she's still like, but I still hate Muslims and I still love Israel? Is that what it is? We will prove that there is no problem too large for the government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about. I love that quote. It was so good. Genuinely one of the most horrifying quotes I've ever heard from a politician, says Jason Howerton. A streamer said someone at the door and I heard kill the boar. The Afrikaners are tired. That's another classic. When is Felix coming on? He's supposed to be here soon. His taping went a little bit longer than expected.